Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Super reviews and predictions, in which I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super Episode 24, and then predicting what I think is going to happen in Dragon Ball Super Episode 25. Well, a lot of stuff happened on Dragon Ball Super Episode 24, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, the thing is that although I always say that as a part of my intro, the thing is that in this episode, not a lot of stuff actually did happen. It was mostly just a drawn-out retread of the fight between Base Goku and Final Form Frieza from the Resurrection F movie, and I can't really understand how they dragged this out to an entire episode, but I knew going in that this is exactly what was going to happen to begin with. Basically, Goku and Frieza went back and forth, with Goku's base being stronger than Frieza's final form. Goku was getting the advantage over Frieza, kicking him around. Frieza started trying to attack people that were on the ground. For example, he tried to kill Jocko and Bulma, and then before that he tried to kill Krillin. The first time when he tried to kill Krillin, Goku stopped the blast. The second time, Goku was knocked to the ground, so Vegeta stopped the blast. And then they went back and forth with blasts, punches, kicks, grabbing one another's tail, talking, and doing basically what we saw in the movie. And basically, because of the fact that we've already seen this before, I feel that this episode was kind of boring and kind of just meandering and mediocre. We already saw it, let's just get past this and get to the next episode already so we could see what happens, and we could actually see the meat of this story, rather than this tensionless fight that was tensionless even in the movie. And there was another thing that I was kind of annoyed about when I was watching this, that was actually a little bit different from what happened in Resurrection F the movie. Whereas in Resurrection F the movie, the only blast that Frieza threw out, Goku would hit off into space, or would just hit into the sky where they would explode. In this case, there was fragments of their blasts going all over the place and exploding and hitting the ground, and yet it wasn't destroying the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, or anything. And yet we're supposed to believe that Goku and Frieza are on such a high level, and yet the ramifications of their fight is doing significantly less than even the ramifications of Goku versus Vegeta or Gohan versus Cell. Just remember the fight between Goku and Frieza in the anime on Namek. For example, when Goku has this big energy ball thrown at him by Frieza, he grabs it and he deflects it, throwing it up into space, and it blows up a nearby planet. We don't see any of that kind of consequences in this fight, which is what made the fight between Goku and Beerus so good in Super. The universe isn't shaking apart, and neither is the Earth. Nothing really seems to be bothered. The only thing that really even seemed to get destroyed was a picture of Jocko and his girlfriend. That's about it. And as a result of it, it makes the entire thing feel that much more pointless and worthless to watch, because we already know what's going to happen. We already saw the movie, and there is no real new changes that actually have any substance to them. Basically, in the middle of this fight, Vegeta intervened, just as he did in the movie, was telling Goku to get serious, and then of course Goku got serious. And all of this of course revealed to Goku revealing his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan Blue transformation, and explaining to Frieza exactly what it was. And basically that was the entire episode in a nutshell. And if it sounds like I'm not really saying a lot that happened in this episode, it's because there wasn't really a lot to happen in this episode that there was to talk about. Nothing really happened. It was a totally forgettable episode with a tensionless fight that happened in the movie, and it was done better in that film. In this episode, we didn't even get to see Frieza transform into his golden state just as he did in the movie, because of the fact that we know that they're trying to pad this out and stretch this out for a series format. But the thing is, again, in this fight, just like in many of the other episodes that had this similar problem in the past, the series is only stretching them out for the sake of stretching them out. They're not adding anything substantive in there. They're not adding any more references to Frieza's training or anything like that. It's just mindless punching and kicking. And really, at this point in time in this series, that is boring, because we've seen it time and time again. It's time for them to move on, to shift the dynamic, and to keep going. But that's something that clearly they're not doing, and they really need to do with the next arc, or else this series is just going to continue to fall flat. So basically, that's my thoughts on this episode as a whole, and my review of this episode. It was mediocre, it was meh, whatever you want to say about it, and it was overall completely forgettable, except for the awesome transformation scene from Goku, which was awesome in the movie, so hopefully it would have been awesome in this one too. And it's kind of hard for them not to deliver, because it's such an awesome transformation, and it looks so cool. But basically, this leads into my predictions of what's going to happen in the next episode, and as we already see in the next episode preview, it seems like the continuation of the fight between Goku and Frieza. Now Goku being a Super Saiyan Blue, and Frieza transforming into his golden Frieza state. And we could see them blasting back and forth at each other, and we could see see that it seems strangely almost even between the two in these previews, which is very strange considering the fact that Frieza from the get-go in the movie has an advantage over Goku. Hopefully they'll keep that dynamic in the series because of the fact that if they remove that as well, this entire thing will feel that much more tensionless, just as it did in the movie, but to the nth degree. So in the next episode, I'm going to predict that this is going to be the start of the fight between God Goku and Golden Frieza, and hopefully there's going to be a lot more stuff added in, maybe Frieza talking about his training even more in depth, talking about how he unlocked this form, and actually showcasing just how powerful they are in reference to Beerus and Whis. And strangely, Beerus and Whis haven't even showed up on this planet, so perhaps in the next episode they're actually going to arrive. It'll be a shame if they cut out that whole scene talking about Beerus and Whis, how they're actually looking at Frieza, and Frieza notices them and is in fear, which actually adds to Beerus as a character. And also it'll be disappointing if they don't bring up the fact that Beerus was the one who ordered Frieza to destroy planet Vegeta. Although I wasn't a big fan of that to begin with, if they remove that entirely, it's going to take away yet another new element that Akira Toriyama came up with for this series. And if they continue to remove each and every one of those elements, what's even the point of him coming back to make another series when Toei is basically having their way with all this new material? But in either case, this has been another review of Dragon Ball Super and my predictions for what's going to happen in Dragon Ball Super episode 25. Tell me your own thoughts down below. Did you like this episode or did you not? Did you agree with my opinions or do you disagree? Let me know down below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe. And as I always say, stick around because there's a lot more to come in the future.